Hello traders, today is October 8th, 2024. I'm gonna go over 13 names today. As per usual, please make sure to do your own due diligence and research before you decide to risk any of your capital. This content is for educational purposes. So again, my strong suggestion is that if you're feeling like investing or making any type of decisions with your money, please do some research before you risk your capital. That being said, let's start with Affirm. And looking quite interesting. Let me zoom this in a little bit more. On the daily, today was up 6.61%. It was a pretty interesting day for the market in general. It was there was a little bit of volatility with not a lot of volume, if you ask me, but enough to see some moves. It was a little bit of a sell-off in the beginning of that day. In the first 10 minutes, we're in the 5-minute chart, and then you actually started coming back up. One thing that I find quite interesting is this level right here that I put at 39.34. You can go back to some other videos and you can see then that level hasn't been moved. And anyways, what I'm trying to say here is how important it is to actually try to find areas of support and resistance, and that could actually be very helpful for your trading. Anyways, you bounced on this level right here, which is support 39. Let's say 30. And you also bounce right on the 35 SMA. Quite important point as well. MACD and TSI are very cool down now, and it looks like we might have a little bit of momentum to the upside. I personally think that is a little bit too early. I wouldn't be surprised, and you are just moving towards 42.50, and then you get a rejection. So I wouldn't feel comfortable in any positions on Affirm until we get a better trend over 42.50. But today was a pretty good day for Affirm. It looked pretty solid. I haven't read any news on it, but let's take a look if there is anything here. There was an upgrade for Affirm to buy with a price target of 68. Wow, that is pretty big. Anyways, I do think that if we continue with this momentum, it is critical to break 42.50, and then you are probably going to see a continuation. You definitely had this rebound on these lows right here, and then you came back. That's a good sign so far. You're also mounting the 35 SMA, and it's looking good. But I think it's a little bit too early to celebrate. Just keep an eye on how this is behaving in the next few days. Let's move on to the next name, and that is... Oh, really? Let me take a look at AVGO. And, this whole sector has been pretty strong. I'm going to mention SMH at the end of the video, but I'm mentioning AVGO because you can see this textbook retest on this trend line right here. And you're also retesting this level right here at 165.54. Which showed you that it was a little bit of a strong level, but the behavior of AVGO right here was pretty typical, I would say. You came back here, and definitely you had a resistance, or I'm sorry, a rejection. What am I saying? A rebound here, or a retest, and now you just continue going up. Today was up 3.23, so that the sector, in general was pretty solid, and so this was a very great move. This retest right here was your confirmation to get back in. You had the trend line as a confirmation, and you also had this level right here as confirmation. Even if you get this line side of the way, you still had a confirmation on the retest on the support at 166.54. Very nice chart. It's not exhausted on the MACD or the TSI. The TSI actually is catching strength. The RSI is not overbought, so this might have actually room to go to and break all-time highs. We'll see what happens in the next few days. Let's move on to BABA. And normally I don't talk much about Chinese names I'm somewhat active on X, and there were a couple of quite a few posts saying that how extended the Chinese market is, and my comments to those, or my replies to those posts, are that, well, this whole thing is not going to end up well, and I don't think it will. Now, there's a possibility, even though they announced today that they're not going to do more stimulus, but there is a possibility that more money is going to be injected into this, into the Chinese market, and that is why you artificially had this move right here, the initial stimulus that we got from the Chinese government. Now, my problem with this is, number one, Chinese stocks are difficult to trade. You can see, let's get rid of this for a second. You can see how gappy this is. I mean, there's gap after gap after gap. I personally, I would go nuts trading like this. There's another gap right here, so you can have like 4 gaps. Anyways, now you have another gap right here. But the reality is that if you catch a move like this, then you obviously make very decent money. But I also find very difficult to trade these kind of situations. I also find it very risky because again, it's a move that is not natural at all. It's being incentivized by the government. Not that the US hasn't done this in the past and actually had results, but in reality, I don't consider China a very capital friendly country, and for that reason, I normally try to stay away from these names. Anyways, a couple of things to rescue here. The first one is, like, if you got this move in any of these names, you can go to Baidu and PDD and some other names, Chinese companies, then you did great. That's awesome. My personal thing on this whole thing is it is just risky. We might have a continuation if there's an announcement of additional stimulus coming in the future. That is going to pump this again, and there is opportunity to make money. But if I'm only looking at technicals right now, and I look at what I'm seeing here, and here, then it is kind of obvious to me that a pullback is coming. However, any announcement of additional money is just going to pump this again. And for that reason, I just leave it alone. Anyways, if you were any of these people who had a heavy position in Baba or Baidu or PDD or any other Chinese company, and you actually benefited from this, I'm super happy for you. But normally I don't cover these names, and even though there's these massive moves, because in reality I don't know, I just don't like trading Chinese stocks. So I just wanted to mention that. Let's move on to where are you? Clover. And the best thing that could happen for Clover is to be in range between 354 and this area right here at 390. 390. It was up today by almost 2%. We had a very nice move on, was it Friday? Well, Friday was 1%. No, it wasn't. Tuesday you went up, or Thursday you went up 11%. The day before you were up 29%. So that was a magnificent move. But what I like is that it's cooling down and it's not actually dumping to the way towards 275. I think if this stays here for a little bit of time, then you're going to have a very good opportunity to continue going up. Keep an eye, I guess my point to this is keep an eye on 355, 354, and 390. Those are the levels that you want to keep an eye on. I think if you break under 354, you're probably going to go back to this support level, which is pretty strong. MACD and TSI are not exhausted or are not extended at all, and RSI is not overbought. So again, getting back into range here would actually cool this whole situation down. It would give a little bit more time to the stock and to accumulate strength. There's low liquidity here, so we'll see what happens. But anyways, I still like Clover. Hopefully they continue moving up. in the next few weeks or so. But the best thing that could happen right now is a consolidation in this area for the next move to the upside. If you break under 354, you're probably gonna meet 275 pretty quick. Now let's move on to name that I've been talking about, and that is CrowdStrike. And let me take a quick note right here. I was mentioning this because a couple of things. You had this trend line. I think when I started mentioning CrowdStrike was when we were bouncing on support on Monday the 30th, and then we went down, and then we actually claimed this, I guess, support resistance level. We went over this trend line, and now we are on our way to meet the 200. No, actually, this is not the 200 SMA. Yeah, this is it, the 200 SMA. Sorry about that. So this is looking so far so good. The only thing though is undated contracts for CrowdStrike are quite pricey. So the range, let's say if you're buying January 17th contracts, the range is, I believe, between actually I can tell you that with more precision. For January 17th, calls on the money are, or in the money are 2,600. So they're a little bit pricey, definitely. But I do believe that this has room to move. If you break the 200 SMA, you have very low liquidity here. You are going to start moving. You have a price gap right here as well. MACD and TSI are moving slow, which in this case is a good scenario. I like CrowdStrike. I wish the contracts were a little bit cheaper, but there is definitely opportunity here for the upside. So keep CrowdStrike in your list. So let's move on to what else do I have? I want to mention Google. Let's go with Google. Well, yesterday we actually had a decline of 2.5%. Today we're basically flat, right under 1%. Not the type of candle you want to see. This is a very indecisive candle in my opinion, but you're still respecting the support level at 164.3. Let's just call it 164. MACD and TSI are not looking bad, but also are looking, especially the TSI, like it's starting to lose momentum. That is a little bit worrisome. I do believe that if there is nothing as far as bad news coming, geopolitical or data that is coming this week, PPI, CPI, and whatnot, I think this is going to start moving towards 170. Another thing that I'm liking about Google is that we are in range so far. It's respecting the support level as I just mentioned. So there might be something going on here in the next few days. I think that by Friday, we're definitely going to find out what is the direction the market is going to take. I'm saying this because by Friday, we're going to have all the data that the market wants to see. Anyways, if that is the case, I do believe that staying in this range, respecting the support level at 164.30 is quite important. So even though today was, let me take a look because I was looking on my phone. It was a sell-off throughout the whole day, and look at this, just touching this level right here. That's pretty cool. And then just came back, got to this level again, and then moved up. It got a little bit of momentum towards closing. Anyways, I still like Google. I would love to see a little more volume, a little more buyers coming in, so that way you can add strength to the entire move. So far, it looks a little bit weak, but I still like Google. I'm gonna tell you, I do have calls for Google for where are they? January 17th. So they're in the money. So I'm not too worried about them, but I think if this continues going to go towards that 200 SMA, which is this line right here, I would probably sell to a loss, I think. Anyways, that's what I have for Google. Let's move on to, I was looking, now that we have all these problems going on in the East Coast, I've been looking at Home Depot, and it is moving very strong. You have this level right here, which is 417.32. Now, why am I using this level? Is because you are right here back on November 2021. I think if we break this level, we are just going to continue moving up. Why am I looking at Home Depot? It's normally a stock I don't trade, and stock that I don't mention in my videos very often. But the reason is because my thought process is, well, we have all these disasters going on in the East Coast, in North Carolina, in Georgia, in Tennessee, parts of Florida. Now we have another hurricane, a Milton hurricane coming into Florida. I do believe that there's got to be, in the next few months, a process of rebuild everything that is happening in those areas, and we are going to need companies like, or there, let's say Home Depot and Lowe's, for example, are going to benefit from unfortunately from these disasters. So I'm just looking at this, and it's and I want to see how this behaves and how things happen. But I do believe that there is definitely potential here to the upside. I would love to see a little bit of a rejection on this level right here at 417, just for things to cool down a little bit and to have a better, I guess, entry. But other than that, I do believe that these companies, Lowe's and let's take a look at Lowe's really quick, and Home Depot are definitely gonna benefit from what's going on. Oh wow! So Lowe's, look at this. I did put this, I don't know when, but that's interesting. So Lowe's is at all-time highs. It's not cooling down at all. It already retested this level. So if we go to HD, Home Depot, yeah, we can argue that maybe we are retesting this level right here, and we could get into range right here. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I let's see if we break this level. But again, I do believe that these two names are probably going to benefit in the near future. Keep them in mind, HD and Low, LOW, which is Lowe's. Let's talk about HIMS. And I'm taking a note right here. Today it was, even though you have a little green candle right here, but it was down by 3.55%, which is fine. This gap was a little bit was wider as of yesterday, but we're kind of like covering this or filling this gap, which is something I said yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised and you fill this gap, and then you get either a rebound on this area at 1726 and then continue going towards 1870 and then towards 2170. That would be optimal in my opinion, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get more momentum to the upside. I think this name is still very solid. I like the fact that it's not like moving I guess it's not going parabolic. It still has hiccups and whatnot, so it's behaving in a more well, over here it looks a little bit hectic, but it's behaving in a more consistent way. Anyways, I like HIMS. I actually I'm starting to buy calls for next year for HIMS, and the reason is because I do believe that there is going to be some momentum coming into this name. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart and see how this is behaving. And so we had a drop in the beginning of the day and then went under this level, then try to claim it again, and then you're actually closing right on top of it. That's interesting. And then, well, after hours, not to worry about the after hours, have a point down. We'll see what happens tomorrow. And again, I do believe that if Israel behaves and nothing really bad happens in the next few days, other than, well, the hurricane, I think the market is starting to price that. But if data comes positive, I think the market is gonna move to the upside. We're gonna check on NQ in a second. Anyways, that's what I have for HIMS. It's looking good. I got some calls for next year for HIMS, and I do believe that we can, if we go down towards 17, I might actually buy a little bit more. But this is your support level that looks seems to be pretty strong. And then your resistance level right now, even though you're a little on it, is 18.7. HIMS looks great. Anyways, let's move on to the next. No, it's not Meta. Where are you? Let's do, if I can find it, Microsoft. Okay, Microsoft. So interesting how it's moving. Right now, what can I tell you? Are we retesting this trend line? Maybe. I think it's important for Microsoft in the next few days, if it catches any momentum. Today was up 1.26%. If we go over 415, which is a pretty strong support resistance level, I think we can continue going this way. So far, I still have an inclination towards 400. I'm sorry, but I still have that inclination. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart. And you're starting the day right on this, and you had basically the whole day was on the way up. So you started low, and then I want to see the 1 minute now. I wasn't paying attention to this, but look, you just went up, and then towards the middle of the trading day, you kind of had this chop area, and then this indicator right here, even though this is a 1 minute, so keep that in mind. This is a 325 SMA, and it works very well on the 4-hour and the 1 day, but sometimes you see how it works in a lower time frames. But anyways, that's not what my point right here. I think we had some momentum towards closing. You got rejected right here on this level at 415, and now we are down, and that's how we close the day. We'll see what we get tomorrow, but if you want to get a little more bullish on this, or start working on a bullish thesis, you have to break 415, and you probably want to mount this area as well. If you break 415 and you mount this trend line, you also are mounting the 200 SMA, which is this line right here, and you're basically right under the 35 SMA. I want to be bullish on Microsoft, but I would love to see Microsoft at 400, because that would be an absolute gift. So if you have Microsoft positions, I'm sorry about this, but I would love to see Microsoft continue to go down towards 400. I think at that point it would be cheap just to get in. But anyways, for now, it's just a matter of waiting. It could actually break 415 and then continue going towards 431, but we'll see. It doesn't matter what I hope or what I wish. The reality is that you either have two situations here, as pretty much everything in stocks. You have to break 415 to get a little more bullish. If you get rejected, as we did by the end of the closing of the day, then you're probably going to continue going towards 400. Keep an eye on Microsoft. Again, 400 would be a gift for everybody. Let's take a look at NASDAQ, and that is NQ. And what did I say yesterday? We have to break 20.3 to get a little more bullish. So we had a little bit of momentum towards trading, and now this candle has to be a little bit more bullish, but it's not happening yet. So we'll see what happens tonight. We'll see how we open, and then if the market is giving us any favors, then we have to mount this level with a little bit of momentum. Tomorrow, however, is Wednesday. Wednesdays come with volume, so we'll see. Also, we do have data coming up, which is important. So on Thursday, where is Thursday? We have jobless claims. That's important. CPI. And then on Friday, we have core PPM. All of those things are important. So keep all that in mind. If all of this comes out positive, the way the market wants to hear it, PPI and CPI come lower, and for short term that would be a good thing. Jobs don't come too bad. Short term that would be a good thing. If that is if that happens, I think we're gonna rally. There's low liquidity here. I think we would actually rally. For now, keep an eye on this level. I don't see, unless there is something super wrong going on, us going down towards 19.7 in the next day or two. But once we start getting data, now things are going to get juicy. So if data is good, we're probably going to break this level at 20.3 and then continue going up. That would be fantastic for all of us. Let's move on to NVIDIA. NVIDIA, look at this. Yesterday, I said we're right over, wait, I forgot to make a note on this. Right over 130. And then we had a little bit of a pullback towards the end of the day. Then what happened today? You open high and you continue moving up. That was fantastic. The move was 4%. This sector is looking strong. I think if data, as I just mentioned, comes positive, this is just going to continue moving. Next resistance level is 136. And then after that, there is basically no liquidity. There's already no liquidity here, so keep that in mind. I might actually day trade NVIDIA tomorrow. We'll see. No plans of day trading in the near future, but NVIDIA is super enticing right now. And let's take a look at the 5 minute. Yeah, if you have a start of the day like this, yes, you wanna, let's go to the 1 minute. Look at this. This looks great. So yeah, that's what I have for NVIDIA. Next name, it is, where are we? I want to do Roblox. So it was an interesting day. There was a short report on Roblox. I think they actually getting a lot of bad press. However, it was able to come back to be down only 2.13%. At one point, I think it was down almost 10% or so. This right here is the 325 SMA, and you can see that it actually touched this and then it went back. There is a lot of possibilities, and we're gonna hit 35.75. I'm kind of bearish on Roblox right now. I just see a lot of bad news or a lot of bad press coming for Roblox. Just keep an eye on this name. It might get a little volatile. The only reason why I'm mentioning that. And now let's finish with SMH really quick. This is looking great. Let me take a note right here before I actually talk about it. Okay, so we have resistance at 255.5. I think if we break that level, and we probably will if the sector is still strong, we're definitely gonna rally towards this gap right here. Let me put this gap right here. Sorry, my kid just came back from school, so that's why I'm rushing a little bit. Okay, so we have this. So if we break, I do believe that we're probably gonna go into this area right here. You have low liquidity. MACD and TSI are not extended. All right, traders, that's all I have. See you guys tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.